Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is brother Amawam Rakar coming at you with another lesson. And as always, I want to give all the praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakar Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elder bishops, the great millstone, peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect, and to those of the great multitude destined for salvation, including the women of our nations, of our tribes that have their head on screwed on straight, which is very few, but there are some out there. So this is not directed at them. As the saying goes, if it don't apply, let it fly, man. And I said at the beginning, all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man. Barakatah Yahweh Shai, because without Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, we wouldn't be able to be even here doing these lessons, man. Having the knowledge given and the faith, that spirit of faith to be even believing in this. And believing what we read and believing what we have been taught, what we learn, Anyway, enough waffling, man. I'm going to play this video. It's crazy. Some really crazy talk in this video, man. Look at this, look, just before we get into it. Divested. Look, this one's a Trump supporter. These are females, by the way, man. These are all so-called black women, right, talking to a white supremacist, right? And we're going to get the gist of it in a minute. But this is exactly why our apostles and our elders have told us to leave the so-called black woman alone, man. Alright, because the majority of them are gone. And I want to just show you something in the comments below before I play this, because I just had a look while I was listening, and someone has put here 90% of BWs, meaning black women, will take the mark of the beast. Yeah, because the so-called white man is their power. That is their god. That is their partner in crime, man. That's their partner. You know what I'm saying? So they look up to him. That's why a lot of them, listen, man, I ain't even going to name the spot, but being in this truth. And anyway, I'm an observant person. I like to peep what's going on around me. And one of the areas near where I work, man, you see a lot of these so-called black women, Israelite women, walking around with these so-called mixed babies, man, but they're really Edomites. Let's just keep it at 100, man. Walking around with these Edomite babies, man. These caramel-looking Edomite babies, man, because they love them. They love the Edomites around there, man. Because all it is the ninja woman is doing is it's hypergamy, man. She's trying to upgrade herself. She's trying to upgrade herself out of the curses, man. Alright, she's trying to upgrade herself out of the curses. You can't run away from it. And all they're doing is bringing about more of the wicked, man. The scripture says, though they join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. So, their children and their husbands are going into captivity, man. They're going to be destroyed and come back on the other side. But their husbands and their children are going to be there. Servants and handmaids, man, in the kingdom. That's crazy. Anyway, let's play this. It's not going to mess around because I don't know why this thing is doing this little thing, but let's see.
Perception, because the goal of this conversation should be to progress, right? Unless you're ladies that you don't want to fucking deal with men at all, then we should talk about it.
We don't want to deal with black men at all. With all men and not black men. Just not black men.
Well, is there any women here who don't want to deal with men, period, or is it just black men?
Now see, them sort of statements, I'm going to keep stopping that when I need to. I'm just going to keep it real. But them sort of statements is just them putting themselves out on an auction block, man. They're selling themselves. They want these guys to know that, look, we don't want anything to do. We want any other men out there. Yeah, we'll take them, but we want nothing to do, with our own men. And this is divested. When they're divested, the divested women, Yeah, I also say it straight. I'm not going to keep saying so-called. 'Cause, you get the message, man. We're not really black, but these black women, right? These divested black women, the divested ones are the ones that are dealing with the Edomites, man. Or they like to call themselves swirlers. And you can get the message in that one. But they're putting themselves up for sale, man.
Or is it a mixture?
It's just black men, and we actually want non-black men's help in these corrections that you speak of.
So what are the corrections that you're looking for specifically?
Force, because that's the only thing that's gonna work.
But I mean, what are you looking for black men to arrive at? A place of understanding of like what do you want to see?
Well, we believe that there is no hope for them. That we don't believe in changing their minds. We don't. But I'm trying not to say what I really want to say because you're on stage. But if they could not exist, hey, we wouldn't be mad at.
You hear that? If they could not exist, we would not be mad at that. So they were talking about the genociding of their own men. They think that their lives are going to be better off without us around. Now, obviously these are women that have made particular choices in their lives and have chosen so-called black men that have made them come to these decisions. But not all, Israelite men are like this. Or whatever they've gone through, not all Israelite men are like that, man. So, the question is, do they really feel that way, or is this just an excuse to try and, find excuses to be with other nations, man? Which is, this is against our laws, man. They're not meant to be dealing with the heathen, man. For obvious reasons, you bring in about more heathens. And what does this remind you of, man? The beguiling, man. They literally go into this devil to be beguiled. They want him to teach them, like the serpent. That was a man, by the way. The spirit of the wicked, Edom, right? They want him to basically give them knowledge, man, just like Eve did in the garden, man. Although it was the serpent going, to Eve, not Eve going to the serpent for help. She was beguiled, but they're beguiled anyway. This is hence the reason why they feel as though they need to go and talk to this demon, this devil, right? This white supremacist, yeah, in order to gain the knowledge on how to overcome their enemy, which apparently is us. I mean, these so-called black women are gone, man. They are finished, finito. Let's see what else there is to say about this.
I think for me, I want the coddling culture to kind of stop. I think they get validated a little bit too much, and they're not held accountable as much as white men, Hispanic men, Asian men.
And that's crazy, considering when you look at Babylon, right? The so-called black man has the highest conviction rate and also the highest exoneration rate. So meaning that they are being targeted for petty crimes and crimes they don't commit, right? And also being found in the end to not be guilty of said crimes. So no one's coddling. That's if our men were getting if the men of our nation were getting coddled, man, they wouldn't be being hauled out of out of their cars or by the police or shot down in the street. They wouldn't be filling all the prison houses, man. So what are these women talking about? I mean, it's almost as if they're living in an alternate universe.
The legal system works in their benefit a little bit more than they think it does. They're seen as the ultimate, most oppressed, and I think that
because we are.
Coddling culture needs to stop, and they need to be held accountable for their actions. Because we live in white male patriarchy, white men sit what's socially acceptable. So with you all setting what's socially acceptable,
and that's a lie. Because what's socially acceptable, if you're going to talk about actual grounded laws, not new age laws, Those laws are from the scriptures, man. You know, not stealing, not murdering, not committing adultery, not, you know, just not showing up, not being, you know, how can I put it? You know, being socially acceptable in your behaviour. You know, the scriptures teach you all these types of things. That's not Esau's way. You know, if you look at, you know, she just said that. And it just goes to show you how stupid these women are. We're talking about the men of their nation are the ones that have created the most turmoil, the most disarray on this earth. Scriptures tell you who, Job 9:24, I'm just going to quote it, tells you that the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So this is, if this is the powerful patriarchy that she's talking about, that's them. And you watch, man. You watch in the time of Jacob's trouble, man. You watch what's going to happen then. But let's play a little bit more.
The degenerate behavior of black male culture needs to be checked, and
so I can keep cutting this, but every time they say something, it's like I have to form a rebuttal, because he talks about the black male culture. That black male culture is pushed by Edomites and Amalekites in these you know, these record industries when it comes to like hip hop music and all of that stuff. You know, and the entertainment thing, where they put on the TV, you know, all they ever want to put on the TV about us is things about us being crime syndicates and gangsters and stuff like that. No, they portray us as being the most dangerous men on earth.
there needs to be more, because we're no longer looking for accountability from them because they've proven that they will not take accountability. We need the men who set the culture to make them take accountability by exacting some sort of consequence for perpetrating behaviors that are not socially acceptable, because you all create the socially acceptable behavior.
A few moments later.
Hey, black man, hey.
Now, we don't want to listen to these women, because these women are bigging up, you know, the so-called black man. And, you know, this is not what this video is about. You know, hats off to you women that feel that way for whatever reason. I'm not going to come bad against you for that. So we're going to go there, man, because this ain't that type of video, man. But you see, they're basically gas blowing smoke up this Edomite's arse. And it's all because they're not. These women are just selfish. They're not really doing it because they're tired of being downtrodden by the so-called black men. They're doing it because they're trying to elevate themselves away from us and away from the curses. They want to be side by side with Esau, Edom, man. Eve is cunning, man. Let's not get it twisted. We talk about them not having wisdom, but there's a difference. A woman can still be cunning without being wise. Cunningness can still get you into trouble. You know, because being cunning sometimes you think you're smart, but you're not really smart. But let's get in the scriptures, man. I'm tired of listening to these tricks, because that's what they are. Sorry, but it's just facts. You know. I mentioned something, so I might as well just get it about Jacob's trouble, man. Isaiah 4:1, let's get that. Because they're talking a good mess now, but you watch them coming crawling. They're going to come crawling back, crawling when Esau starts showing his ass about what he's really about, man. They're going to come crawling. A lot of them are going to go crawling to him for that chip, like that intelligent person said in the comments. Because they're right. Well, let's not say it's 90. Let's say, well, if you're talking about Babylon, let's say 66.6. Anyway, Isaiah 4:1 says, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach, meaning to take away our shame. So there's in that day, they're going to be looking out for the Israelite man, because he's going to be the only one that they can be hopeful of getting some protection from. And there's even going to be men in that day of our nation that ain't going to be on that. You know, because we have evil men of our nation just like every other race does. But they're trying to make it out like, you know, we are the worst. And we have not with them, and we're not held accountable. We're held more accountable than anybody else. Even as young boys, we're, you know, the rate of young boys being tried as adults is crazy in comparison, percentage-wise, to the other nations, man. I haven't got the statistics, but you know, you can go and look at that. Yeah, and in that day, several women shall take out of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Right now, they don't want our name. They want Esau's name. They don't want Jacob's name. They want Esau's name. You know? But they're going to see, man. They're going to see. This is just like, you know, like I said, like, let's get it. In fact, let's read it. Where is it? Genesis, the 3rd chapter. Right. And here, listen, let me just read it. Genesis 3:1. It says, and now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord Yahweh our power had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, hath Yahweh said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? So it says, you know, the servant was more subtle. That guy is being subtle, man. You know, he's listening and he's trying to engage with them like, yeah. You know, what is it you're trying to achieve? And, you know, what can we do to help you? He's beguiling her, man. Right? He's tricking her into believing that he gives a shit. They want all of us gone. They don't care about the Negro woman, man. Or any other Israelite woman for that matter. They don't, but as you know, the darker skin of the tribesmen, you know, in this world, they don't. You know, we're the ones that come off the worst a lot of the time, because a lot of the other tribes, you know, the northern tribes, you know, come off like, you know, some of them act like they're white, or so-called white, I should say. But this man, he's tricking them, man. You know. Yeah, what is it you want to achieve? What's the end goal? How are we going to help No, and she said straight up, said, we don't want you to help. We want you to basically get rid of them. They want to live in a world where they can just be free to date and marry these other nations without feeling shame. Because you see them when you walk down the street and they're dealing with the other nations. You see them with the Moabites now, man. That's crazy. And you look at them, and you can see on their face that they know that something ain't right. And that's not just the nature of our women, that's the nature of women in general, man. They always trying to get that boost. Trying to climb that totem pole, man. Right, so it says, and the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yahweh hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. So, you know, the knowledge she's talking about is, you know, going about the other nations and learning of their ways, basically. You know, they were meant to stick to the ways that the Lord told them to stick to, but they, you know, they were beguiled through Eve into going and learning of the ways of the other, you know, people, you know. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. You know, so she believed him over the Most High. That's crazy. She believed him over the Most High. Just like they believe in this devil over what they see. Or they believe in what they've been told. They sound like those bootlicking sellouts that, you know, them so-called black Trump supporters that are on YouTube and all that, always talking bad about, and TikTok and everything else, always talking bad about their own people. That's what they sound like. I know someone like that. It says, for Yahweh doth know that in the day that ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, so that looking at all the stuff what all the other people are doing, and they have been doing all these things that we want to do the same thing. That's what our women are like, man. That's why you see them now. They're dressing like Edomite women, and talking and walking around like Edomite women, putting little dogs in bags. Like that's an Edomite woman thing, man. They try to emulate their ways. So bad. I know I'm talking about petty little things, but that's what Eve is like, man. The superficial petty things that they want to do just to make themselves feel as though they're like, the Edomite woman who they deem as the superior. It says, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. So she screwed it up for everybody, man. She screwed it up for everybody. So I'm just loading this up now, but there was something else. I think there was something else I wanted to get. These are wicked women, man. Absolutely evil. Plotting the downfall. Do they not realise that see, that's the thing, they don't understand the biology, like Numbers 1:18, knowing that, we come, the father is the progenitor of the races, not the mother. She carries the egg, the seed, and it fertilizes the egg and all of that stuff, and then, the baby, the seed grows, and she gives birth to the seed, man. They don't understand that, so they think if they carry on with Esau, they're still going to have like these half so-called black babies. Alright? And that's what Esau wants. He wants to deal with our women just so he can do that, 4 generation and destruction of, I think it takes about 4 or 5 generations before they don't even look like what they're supposed to look like anymore, man. Micah 7:10 says, then she that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord of thy power? Now, look, that's not directly to what these women are saying, but ultimately, shame is going to cover them when they see that they were trying to destroy the men of Israel. Right? And I'm only going to read that part. But that's basically what they're doing. They think they can get rid of the most we are the top men at the end of the day.
Say again?
So it's like if you hear any outside noise. But yeah, man, I'm not going to do it too much more, but I'm going to get a few more scriptures. Wait a minute, what am I doing? What am I in 28? Wait a minute. Slovakia. What am I looking for? Do you know what? Bear with me. I forgot what I was looking for. I'm sure I'm not paying attention. Yeah, idiot. Slovakia. I'm just going crazy. I was already there. This chapter has a lot of stuff talking about these dirty women, man. You know. But yeah, man, Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 25 and 13 says, "Give me any plague but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman." And these are wicked women, man. They want to see, now, and they're asking for something, whether or not they believe they could achieve it. They're asking for something so extreme that's impossible for them to do, even if Esau wanted to just, well, he does, but even if he could just destroy and get rid of every Israelite man on the earth, that's never going to happen. The hatred is so deep that they will say that. She said she didn't want to say it, but she was compelled to utter it, man. You know. It says, "And any affliction but the affliction of them that hate me, and any revenge but the revenge of enemies." Right? It says, I had, verse 16 says, I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. It says, verse 19, "All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her." So yeah, man. So the scriptures tell you, it's really telling you that these women, they're just not right, man. That's why in this world we're not really even meant to really enjoy them like that, because you can't. You know, you can't trust. I saw a woman saying, she's saying, husbands, if your woman cheats on you, you know, don't be hasty. Don't, you know, if you have kids and stuff, don't destroy everything that you got for something meaningless. No, man, that's what we're just talking about, putting that woman to the sword, basically. I'm gonna, you know, be careful with my words, man. Verse 23 says, "A wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh a heavy countenance and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress maketh weak hands and feeble knees." And that's the nature of these women as well. They're not nurturing. They're not peace giving to their husbands, man. It's just a fact. That's why and people don't understand. That's why a lot of Jakes deal with the other nations, because they want peace, and you can't get it from them, man. And it's near impossible to get it from them. just reading a couple of the curses, man. But they think they can, in fact, yeah, hold on. Let's read this real quick. Proverbs 11:21 says, "Though hand joining hand the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered." So, these wicked women, man, trying to, upgrade themselves with the Edomites, man. You're not saving the Edomites, and your children will become Edomites, and they will be destroyed. The wheat and the tares, man. Yahushua going to decide that. We try the spirits in that, but ultimately Yahushua going to be the ones to come through and run through all these fake jakes. Anyway, let's get this. Further down. Deuteronomy 28:56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one. Now look, this is really coming, talking about, that's going into the, the sacking of Jerusalem, right? But these curses, remember, these curses are for signs and for seasons. Meant to, there's meant to be basically until we're out of them. But the curses don't change, And I had another one I wanted to get, but I can't remember what it is now. So look, on that note, I'm going to call it, that's it on that. Lord is edifying. Yeah, man. Look, if you're trying to get yourself a little piece of something, just stay away from them, man. They're no good. It's a shame to say it because, you know that when they're in their right mind, the Israelite woman is the greatest, man. But right now, they're not. Right now they're not, man. So we have to really ride it out by that time. Like we read, man, they're going to come, 7 women will take hold of 1 man. That's going to happen, man. They're going to eat their words. And I don't think, and I'm not even saying that in a joyous manner. Because at the end of the day, these are curses that we're under. That's why they're being like this. But it is what it is, man, so we can't garner too much sympathy for them because they want to unalive all of us, man. They want us gone. Anyway, Lord is edified. Give all praises, honor, glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. And as always, double honor to the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the elect. And to the great multitude destined for salvation. Shalom.